Hi all. This is the first for me, so please excuse any sort of shakiness or the fact that, well, I've never done a live stream before, so please excuse everything. I apologize for it being so late. Um, a lot of people have asked for a live stream for a while, and here it is. So at the moment, nobody in the audience as such, but hopefully somebody does join in soon. Otherwise, it'll be a very quick stream, really. Um, First of all, I want to thank everyone for the amazing support on the videos. I wasn't really expecting such a huge reaction. I want to thank all the subscribers, all the comments, all the likes. Um, it's just been an amazing journey. I would like to apologize though that I've not really been posting anything more recently. Um, a lot of things have happened in the last year, but I think it is still close to. So still got a few more days left till the end of the year. But I'm hoping, hopefully, in the new year in 2020, now that I've got my life a little bit more balanced, that I'll be creating more content. Um, so what's happened over the last year? Um, I've moved. I was originally in the Midlands in the UK. If you're not from the USA, just about, I don't know if you've heard Birmingham and Nottingham, around there. But now I've moved up north in Yorkshire. That happened almost about 2 years ago. Um, I'm engaged now as well, so that's quite interesting, to say the least. And I've also, got a new job, which is taking a lot of my time up. There have been some issues as well with my mental health, um, which of course, if I'm not well, I can't really create videos about mental health and well-being. I wouldn't be in the right state of mind. Um, but now I can gladly say I'm in a good place. I've I've had loads of requests about creating more content, and people are giving me ideas, and thank you for those ideas as well. So I've got enough ideas to go with to create more content. Um, to be fair, it's I've never had before randomly twisted. I'd never ever even tried creating content. It was just an idea that'd be in my head, and I'd never really executed it. And then I created, 10 things not to say video, which has probably been the most popular video on my channel. And yeah, I was really glad when I made it. So, just a few more things that what is randomly twisted. Randomly twisted was originally just a little joke I had with my friends. Well, what friends I had. But randomly twisted was basically how I would describe myself. Very twisted sense of humor, very random sort of sense of humor as well. But it was quite relative to what that side of my personality did, how it helped me to overcome a lot of the barriers, a lot of the obstacles that are associated with mental health. And personally, I've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder, and the combination of the two is quite rare that I've been told of. It's quite rare to have both. By the way, if you see the lights dimming and going up again. It's just because I've got the TV here. It's on mute. Um, and I think I was diagnosed back in, I want to say 2014, 2015. It's been such a long time, I can't even remember. And originally getting the diagnosis itself was quite difficult. I hadn't ever thought, I don't think anybody does really, ever thought that there was anything wrong, with my mental health. I thought I'm quite a mentally healthy person. And the reason I actually decided is quite annoying, this light change. The only reason I actually decided to go see the doctor was because I was in such a very low place. And like everything else in my life, I'm quite a technical person. Oh, thank you, whoever's joined. I thought I was just talking to myself there for a while. If you're not familiar, my name is Fuzz. Okay, that was quick. That person left really quickly. But yeah, I got my diagnosis after about 2 months, I think, after seeing the doctor. And yeah, it was quite a difficult thing when you're waiting, the whole waiting process. And it comes but when I did get the diagnosis, it was very much almost like justified. It said, no, there is something that's, I wouldn't say wrong with me, but there is an issue, an underlying issue, and here's a piece of paper. And it, as crazy as it sounds, for me personally, for other people, might not be the same, but for me personally, that piece of paper almost said, no, there is something, there is an underlying issue. Originally, my diagnosis was just for bipolar disorder. My diagnosis for borderline personality disorder came in a little bit later. I think it was a year after. I opted for going for treatment. They provided me with two options. First was to go for opt in for therapy. This was in form of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, or talking therapies, even. I at the time I think I was just about holding down a job, and it was I think at the time it was difficult for me to pay for private therapy. We do have an option in the UK where you can get therapy on the health system, NHS. But in my experience, I only got an option of group therapies. I went for it. And it was quite a unique experience, to say the least. This is, again, just my experience. People may have other sort of experiences with this. I was in a group talking, as you do. And the thing with group therapy is you meet different people. First of all, the waiting list is quite long. So when I was offered it, I was like, no, put me on the waiting list, I'll wait for it. Once I got onto the waiting list, the date came for my therapy session. It was a group therapy session. And I think this may have been an isolated incident. But yeah, I had there's a lady who was talking and I was listening, and there's somebody else there who actually tried to attack me. They threw a chair at me, which is quite interesting. Wasn't it was I was taken back by that. It's fair to say I didn't go again, but the second option I was offered was to start medication. Now, for me, the stigma of medication was there. It's like, I don't want to get drugged. I don't want to get drugged up. I don't want. Already, the idea I had, if you go in for medication, if you opt in for medication, it's basically you're going to be doped up. You're going to be like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, which to a certain extent is true. But with a lot of things, like other lot of things in life, you have to feel it out. You got to find the one that's right for you. Everybody has a different biological build, makeup even, and different medications affect people differently. I was given Depakote, um, which was the first night I took it. It was quite overwhelming. Um, it was, I said, it's very, very much a lot of sedation, which means it makes you drowsy. I was expecting it to the level that it was, so I took it and I was absolutely fine for a few minutes. Then when it kicked in, it kind of made me feel like it's almost like a tiredness that comes. But in your head, you're thinking, I don't get tired this quickly. You know, it'd be 8 o'clock, and I'm like, why am I getting tired? Anyways, I tried a lot of different medication, and I can gladly say I am on still on medication, but it's a medication which works well for me. Um, Unfortunately, it is trial and error. You will have to try one thing, then another, then another, then another. I think I went through 3 different medications, and I found the one that works for me, and it helps the symptoms for my bipolar disorder. It does get sometimes where the symptoms do come back, and it probably it's difficult to explain. It's almost like the symptoms are fighting the medication, which is like I said, biological makeup and all. Um, in this, it could be rare cases. Like for example, I don't know if for me, my symptoms for my borderline personality disorder are anger, and to be honest, my medication doesn't address the symptoms for borderline personality disorder. But it helps because you're sedated. It's doing those symptoms, and for me, somehow it works with the other symptoms as well. But medication, again, like I said, it's more about sticking with it, and if it doesn't work, change it. Like go to your doctor, go to your GP, go to see a psychiatrist. Sorry, I would say psychologist, um, and yeah, speak to them. That's what they're there for. I can understand. Obviously, here we have National Health Service in the UK, which we pay for through taxes, and I can understand in America and other places, you might not have, medical system will be privatized. But it is, in my experience, it is worth to go see a medical professional. And yeah, it's probably the best thing I did. I was in a really, really, really low, probably my lowest. I was at my rock bottom. And, touch wood, I managed to find my way out. And I've got to a point in my life where I can be happy about the person I am. I'm far, my life is far from perfect, but I know I'm at a point in my life where I can make it perfect. I know I've got it in me to make it perfect. Okay, I don't know if, okay, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. Okay, I'm going to work harder, but I've got that strength in me. I can see it, I can envision it. And that's what mental health, dealing with mental health is about. It's, first thing I would say is read up about what mental health condition. I never say, I do say mental illness every now and then, but I prefer the term mental health condition. Even at work, that's another topic as well, is about mental health at work. Whenever I've spoken to anybody at my workplace, I always refer to it as a mental health condition. Illness makes it sound like, yeah, it'll pass. And it does for some people. Personally, I still have bipolar disorder as well. Another thing, you're not. I hate it when I hear people say, "Oh, are you bipolar?" I'm like, no, I have bipolar disorder. If that's what you mean, uh, you know, you don't say, "Are you diabetes?" No, you have diabetes or you are a diabetic. Um, but yeah, it's that's my pet peeves. Anyways, um, yeah, I forgot what I was saying there for a minute. Um, see a mental health professional, and if you don't think medications for you, try therapies. I did honestly do private therapy sessions, even though I had a group therapy session which went really well, as I've already said. But I did go for private therapy sessions. It was expensive for me personally, but they did do the job. And fortunately for me, I'd like to think I've landed on my feet. And like I said, now I remember where I was. Read up on your mental health condition. That's probably the best thing. First, understand what the illness, I said illness, what the mental health condition entails. What are the symptoms? Read about, if it is the diagnosis you've got. If you've got no diagnosis, like I said, first thing, mental health professional or some sort of health professional to point you in the right direction. Once you find out, excuse me, read up on what this mental health condition is, and try and teach yourself more about it. Like you might have instances where, excuse me, I've got a cold today, and I'm not crying, it's just a cold. Oh, so attractive. He's so sexy. Excuse me. Like, you will have, when you've got something like, oh, my stomach's hurting, gonna go up onto WebMD, oh, wow, I might have a stomach ulcer. No, it's read up from different sources. Try and learn what these symptoms are. For me, I had a lot of borderline personality disorder symptoms, which, I could kind of relate it to the symptoms of bipolar disorder as well, because the symptoms are quite similar, and it's because the symptoms are quite similar. I was like, okay, yeah, but then after reassessment, it turned out I had bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder, but I learned about both of them. So that's, again, get a diagnosis and then read up on that actual particular mental health condition. Third step is understanding what kind of therapy. Like I said already, if you want to go for therapy and medication, like I did, great. If you don't think you want to go for medication, try therapy. If you don't want to go for therapy and want to stick to medication, it's up to you. It is a personal choice. Um, and once you've got that, it does take a while to get into your groove. Like a lot of things, like underlying issues, therapy would help with that. Whereas the actual immediate symptoms, that's what medication will help with. For me, it was quite a lot of the lows were really low, the highs were really high with my bipolar disorder, and they were devastating in each extreme. And I needed that. I needed the medication. Well, at the time, I didn't know this, but the medication helped with that. It is quite a surreal experience. If you've not had experience with what's the word, mind altering or mind, you know what I mean, those that are under drugs, um, legal, illegal, whichever. If you've not had experience of that, it is quite a surreal experience. For me personally, never had an experience like that, so it was quite interesting to say the least. But it does the job. Like again, if it doesn't work for you, immediately go see your local mental health professional. And that was my journey on a whole. I may have waffled on about it, but it is also helpful for me to revisit it actually. Um, I heard something new that I had at the time. Social media was quite a negative thing for me personally. I found myself putting very negative statuses on, putting pictures which were quite dark, and it started to concern a lot of people in my life, and it was I got a lot of negative backlash as well. It's like people said you're attention seeking. Okay, people would say you're just going through a phase. They know a lot. It was quite there was nobody there to say, do you know what you're feeling right now is it's normal, or do you know what you're feeling? Probably don't know what it means, but I'm here to listen about it. I want to listen to you, talk to me. I didn't have that. It was quite a lot of backlash. I deactivated my Facebook account, and only yesterday, I think, or the day before, I've reactivated it almost 5 years later, because I feel like I'm ready. Like I'm at a point in my life. In the last 5 years, I've met amazing people. I met a lot of negative people. Trust me, a lot of negative people, but I'd cut them out of my life straight away. Like a lot of the people were quite close to me as well, very close to me actually. But to be honest, it's not healthy for them. It's not healthy for me. I'm not gonna brand people as being bad because you know I'd like to think everybody wants to be a good person. Everybody tries to be a good person. But yeah, for me, it was quite negative. So cut them out of my life, wish them the best, but just didn't have space for them in my life. The reason I activated my Facebook account again, it was just because, like I said, I'm in a good place in a touch wood. Probably thinking, well, if you're not familiar with that, Google it. Superstitions and all. And yeah, it's been such a positive experience as well. I've gone back on Facebook. A lot of my friends, pre 2015 still there. A lot of things have changed. A lot of people have got married. Um, like one of my friends, her surname changed. I was like, "Who's this?" And I had to look at the picture. I'm like, "What? That's she got married. They've had kids, and as much as there's a lot of that, oh wow, they're married. I'm not married yet. Oh, they got kids. I want a kid. There's none of that. I don't have that because I'm happy for them, and I'm at that point in my life where I could, like, for example, if I'd say maybe 2 years ago, if I reactivated my Facebook, it would have been as a negative experience for me as it was when I decided to deactivate it, and it's we don't mind. That's another thing. I gave up smoking. That's a huge change. I'm on e-cigs, and it's done me really well. So yeah, again, strengths. I had enough strength to give up, and yeah, I'm on e-cig now. So I hope you don't mind. All the smoke's going that way. Don't worry, not gonna be a problem. Anyways, and yeah, I've reactivated my Facebook account because I'm at a point, and the reaction, the feedback I've had, people just being so positive. They're like, first thing I said was, I wrote status down. I said, look, I've reactivated my account. This is why I left. This is what's happened. I'm in a good place now. And I opened up. I basically said, let's catch up, where we left off. And a lot of people messaged and liked the post. And I'm still like, whilst I'm doing this on my phone, if you haven't guessed already, and I'm still getting notifications at the top just coming down. And they're like, oh, so-and-so commented, oh, so-and-so liked. And, it's just really, it's overwhelming, but it's really good as well to see that those people who are commenting, who are liking, who are getting in touch, who are messaging me, they're genuinely glad to hear back from me, that I'm back on Facebook now. And yeah, it's definitely not the Facebook I left. And I'm sharing news with them, sharing, oh, what's happening? Enough about me. What about you? And it's lovely. So that's my little rant. I've been going for the last 27 minutes or so. Nobody's been coming to the live chat, which is fine. This is my first one, to be honest. So, practice makes perfect. Might do more of these. Might make it a weekly thing. Maybe I won't do it for another year. Who knows? But tell me what you think. Randomly Twisted as a channel, its whole ethos is about making mental health, which it has become mainstream. But when I first started the channel, it wasn't as widely accepted. 2019, great year for mental health. A lot of people have been talking about mental health. A lot of people in the public eye have been talking about mental health, which is amazing, which is mind blowing, which is what Randomly Twisted intended to do. Of course, I can only apologize about how it's been such a quiet channel for the last for the last year or so, actually. And I can only apologize for that, but that is what Randomly Twisted is about. It's about talking about mental health. Maybe having a little fun about it, because if you can't, like for me, a lot of people, well, I've had a lot of people disliking, oh, you're making fun of mental health. I'm like, no, we're talking about mental health, but without all the dread and death and despair that you usually expect, Oh, mental health, no. Very, almost put an Indian accent on, no, not mental health. A lot of melodrama, if you know what. Indian people are quite melodramatic. I've experienced that. I can say it. I've got an indie family. They're very melodramatic sometimes. Nonetheless, it comes with the territory. Vape break. Anyways, that's what Randomly Twist is about, talking about mental health. And also having, like, showing the lighter side of things. Because, to be honest, we're going to talk about mental health. Let's enjoy talking about it. It shouldn't be an intervention. It shouldn't be like, and I've had an intervention, one or two, done by those who loved me, and they thought it was the right thing to do. I didn't. But it shouldn't feel like an intervention when you're talking about mental health, especially when it's related to you. When you're concerned about your own mental health, it shouldn't be an intervention. It should be a conversation you're going to have. And that's what what I intend, even to this day, Randomly Twisted is to help people understand about mental health. Because it's this whole misconception that I made the channel just for people with mental. No, not just with mental health conditions. It's for people who, because this whole thing, everybody will experience mental health, some sort of mental health condition. Will have some sort of mental health condition in their lifetime. Almost everyone will. But for people who do not have a mental health condition, if they have friends or family who have a mental health condition, that's what the video is about. It's about talking. Like my first video, what not to say to somebody who's depressed, 10 things not to say. And a lot of things were really not just a forum, which I'm really happy it became a forum for people to go in the comments and talk about these things. Like, it really did. Like, if I started off, it wasn't really, not many people left a comment. But when people did, I was really happy because people were talking. Look, oh, these are the other ones. These are the, by the way, a video I do intend to do is, it's 10 more things not to say. And it's going to be from comments. So if you have commented on any of the videos, I will get in touch and ask you for permission if I can use your name, username or not in the video for the comments. I'm going to go through all of them. It'd be a good weekend. Like I would like to give you timescales, but like I said, I've got a full-time job. I've got 2 jobs actually. I'm doing a full-time one thing I do in the evening. So when I do get time, I will put this into a pipeline and I'll update it on the channel. But yeah, it became a forum for people with mental health to talk about mental health, and people sharing like things that people had said to them, and they were opening up. They're saying, how their family or their friends were treating them and how it made them feel. I try to reply back to every comment. If you have made a comment, I'm not replied back. I apologize. But like I said, if I'm not in a good place mentally, I don't think I could give any sort of input without me knowing I'm in a better place mentally. But these videos, they're supposed to be for everyone. So if you have a friend who's suffering mental illness and, you're aware of it or they've told you, have a look at one of the videos. I'm not saying this to get more views. It's just basically so you can understand that, what not to say if they've got depression, what not to say if they're depressed. Then I create videos like 10 celebrities. Long video. Okay, I'll give you that. It is a very long video, but it's intentionally long because there was so many things I did. I was originally going to make a very, you know, not very short video, but I was going to make it a regular length video for my channel, but there was so much stuff in there that I needed to discuss, wanted to talk about. And I thought it's not right for me to cut these things out just to make the video shorter. Now, I think that might have been a reason why it probably hasn't had as many views. But to be honest, I brought forward the message I wanted to bring forward, and there it was. So that's what Randomly Twisted, if you're not aware of Randomly Twisted, that's what it's about. It's about bringing the voice of mental health forward. And I hope to do that. You know, I'm hoping to do this hopefully more regularly. I say hopefully a lot. You know, it's like a little disclaimer here. Hopefully I'll do that. Hopefully I'll do that. But I honestly do intend to post more stuff. And yeah, with you, you know, everybody's supported the channel so much. If I've helped one person, at least minimum one person, even if it's just that one person, to deal with their mental health condition, and to be honest, I'm done. My job's done, really. I'm happy I could help someone. And that's what I intend to do, is create more content and try and reach out to people with or without a mental health condition and show them, look, this is how, you know, mental health is perceived, or this is how, you know, people can have a look through the comments, see what other people with that condition relating to the video subject, you know, what they're saying. That's my time. It would have been nice to have someone watch the video. Hopefully somebody will watch this. First time, you know, try again. Firstly, don't succeed, try again. But that's the update, Randomly Twisted. For people who, a lot of people said, oh, are you that YouTuber? I'm like, Google. I'm like, no, not me, definitely not me. But now you've put a face to the voice, I intend to create more stuff. If you have any ideas, please feel free to leave a comment. Any other ideas you have for the video. And yeah, just be nice to each other. And yeah, I think I'm just going to end it on that. Cheers.